What up? Well, I'm getting to that point where I'm almost about done with the sisters. You know, they always talk about how they only need good black men, and I'm willing to take and make that same comment when it comes down to the black women. Like the black women who are, the ones that I would actually pick of my choosing, they're gone. Like they're all taken. They've been booked. And I've thought about it for a while. I think I've done a video, maybe sometime last year, that it mentioned that there aren't any good sisters around. But by me being into exotic animals and having pet reptiles, I have a buddy who owns a reptile shop. I have a few buddies who actually work at this reptile shop, and when I go there, I tend to stay in there for anywhere between an hour to 4 hours at a time. Just talking with them, and we talk about different reptiles, because my buddy, he has animals in there from all over the world. He has Japanese turtles. He has Argentina animals from South Colombia, African different types of reptiles, savanna monitors, and Nile monitors, and retics, different reptiles, right? So over my years of going to this pet shop and just conversating, there are black women who do come in there, and also often, like they always talk about how they're into these animals, and their boyfriends are into them as well, or sometimes they're into it and their boyfriends are not. And today I met a woman at the pet shop. She actually goes to Ohio State, and this is not the first time I've actually ran into black women who live on campus who actually come to the pet shop to buy pet rats and buy different snakes and things of that nature. I've ran into quite a few of them. And they tend to have their sexy on point. They tend to be ladylike. They tend to be more feminine than some of your average or ratchet sisters that I run into. The ones that I run into, and they just have this edge on them and shit. So I thought about that today in the pet shop when I was talking to this young lady. And me and my buddy, we're talking to her. She's feeding her ball pythons, and she had a few questions about their digestive system, and their eating habits, and we explained a lot of the questions to her because she was just getting into it. But the fact that she was getting into it intrigued me, because she has her own ball python, and she's holding one for a girlfriend of hers. She's actually taking care of another one, and just the fact that this young sister is into reptiles, it was just another shocker. And I've seen that a lot. I have a niece that's like that as well. I have a niece that when she was 12 years old, she was always curious about animals. She's always had like pet dogs, but she's never had any other type of animals. And like now she's 20. She is now 25 years of age now. And she's had all types of animals. She's had all types of different turtles and lizards. She's never had any snakes, but she's not afraid of them. But the sisters I run into, honestly, even Kim, like all of these women who grew up around these ratchet ass sisters, they're afraid of snakes. They're afraid of animals. Some of them barely can tolerate dogs. Not saying that it's cool to have a bunch of dogs that's running around your house. Like I run into some black women who have maybe a small dog like a Pomeranian, or they may have like a little York Terrier or something like that. But as far as like reptiles, that's a whole nother caliber. I tend to notice a lot of women who are into reptiles, they tend to have a certain type of intellect that turns me on. Like they tend to be active when it comes down to understanding how politics works, You know, they have a decent level of education. They tend to be more feminine. I'm serious. They tend to be more ladylike. And I don't know what it is, but for the past couple months, I have been running into a couple of these types of women because, of course, I've mentioned it in another video that I have, you know, a pet boxer now. I have a puppy, a baby boxer, a little puppy that I've been taking care of. And I've been, you know, going outside, running around, jogging with her. And I ran into another sister. Well, the girl I met today at the pet shop, you know, she was like a chocolate sister. I mean, fine as hell, man. Sexy, on point, you know. Go to school, lives on campus, right? So I met another female while I was walking my dog. And, you know, she stopped me and she was asking me questions about the dog because she has a dog at home as well. She has, like, you know, some little small toy dog at home. And, you know, we stood outside while my dog was, you know, jumping all up on her and shit. Then I'm like trying to get the dog to get off, and she's like, no, you know, she's okay. But you know, nice little red bone female, you know, had a sexy on point. You know, her hair was on point, and she wasn't afraid of the animal. Here it is. My dog is jumping all on her legs, on her leggings. I'm like, I'm afraid that the dog is gonna scratch her leggings, and she's like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And that's the type of women I like. That is exactly the type of women I like. I cannot stand these bitches who they just don't. They're not into anything. You know, they don't have any hobbies. They don't, you know, have anything that interests them. They don't have anything that turns them on, you know, outside of just getting a dick. Like, they don't have anything that intrigues them. You know, and when they come over by my house, you know, and I'm like, you know, let me go upstairs and check on my snakes. So let me go ahead and change the water bowls. You got snakes? Oh my God! And they freak out and shit. You know, I just don't like them. I don't like them. I don't want them. You know, they don't match my thought process. And I know tons of women that's like this. You know, when I tell them that, yeah, you know, I got a few reptiles, they're like, oh, I don't like them, you know, no, I'm afraid of them. And then I know some of these women that actually teach their fucking daughters to be afraid of them. I have a niece now, like, you know, one of my youngest nieces, my sister, who we both, you know, we have the same mom, different dads and shit, but, you know, she never did like snakes. My mom never liked them. My grandmother loved them. You know, my grandmother, I have pictures of my grandmother with all types of different animals. She's always taken care of animals all her life. But for some reason, you know, my mom, she just, you know, she's afraid of worms. You know, but my mom's mom is just, she's not like that. My mom actually taught my daughter, not taught my daughter, but taught her daughter these things. Me, on the other hand, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, learned a lot from her, so, you know, I was always into different types of exotic animals, and she's always told me to never take care of a pet that can't take care of you. So, you know, that's always been my concept. You know, I never had any type of animals that couldn't do anything less than intimidate someone, which a snake can definitely intimidate, especially a lot of people in the black community. A lot of people are afraid of these types of animals, and, you know, they don't educate themselves on them. You know, whereas me, like, I don't have any venomous animals. But, you know, you would think that I did, you know, hearing from a lot of these black women who I know personally. But when I hang out at the pet shop, I mean, I run into sisters who don't come in there with weave. They come in there with their afro puffs. They come in there with their braids, or, you know, they come in there with their dreads or something. And, you know, these women, you know, they're very intelligent. You know, and they're coming in there to buy rats to feed their animal. They're coming in there to buy crickets to feed their animal. Or, you know, they're coming in there to buy worms to feed one of their animals. And, you know, at home they have frogs, they have snakes, or they have geckos, they have turtles, something. And you know, just hearing them talk, you know, they just seem so full of life. You know, and then when I talk to a lot of the sisters I have, you know, they just so much negativity, you know. Like they got an edge, they have a chip on their fucking shoulder, my God. And I'm just done, I'm fucking tired of it, man. You know, and I just don't know. that's one of the things that is a really big turn off to me. You know, and when I started talking to a lot of women, while I had these animals, I thought maybe it'd be something cool, like, maybe a good talking point. But these hoes is afraid. Like these hoes, oh shit, I'm not coming by your house. Oh, you got snakes. Oh, no, don't bring them downstairs. Don't bring them downstairs. Keep them in the room. And I can't live like that, bro. I don't want to be around any female like that, man. Especially when they teach their daughters, they teach their kids to be afraid of these fucking animals. That shit is pathetic. I just wanted to just point that out, man. I won't make this video too long, but I just wanted to just cover the premise on that because it breaks my fucking heart, man. To just see how uneducated a lot of these sisters are, especially when it comes down to animals. And if it was up to them, there'd be no animals, and that just fucks up the whole ecosystem. And I mean, that's a whole nother video. But just the way a lot of the black sisters are who do enjoy having these animals, man. It's just incredible talking to them. So that's gonna be the end of this video. You guys be cool. Just wanted to kind of like get that off my chest, man. So enjoy the rest of your day or night or morning, wherever you are. This is Sam signing off. Peace.